Thanks, Yolanda. We're going to have a quick look through about how to apply. So we'll have a look at the application process, the portal, and some of the requirements. So the application process, as Billy's already said, the stage 1 application is now open and will close on the 24th of March. All the guidance documents are available on our website and the resources tab, and copies are available on FlexiGrant. FlexiGrant is the application portal that we use, and we have a FlexiGrant user guide available on the website as well. You have to register and create an account on FlexiGrant, but there you can find a Word version of the application form, which you can download if you want to use that to draft your application, but all applications must be submitted through the portal. If you have any questions at any point going through your application, you can always email our help desk email address. If you can just move through to the end of this little cycle, Billy, thank you. So looking at how our applications are assessed at stage 1, funds will be allocated through an open and transparent process against clear criteria detailed in the application guidance. The process for assessing applications is detailed here. So we have eligibility checks will be conducted on all applications that we receive. Eligible applications will be assessed then by an independent expert committee of marine and development experts against assessment criteria in the guidance document. Expert committee then meet to discuss and assess applications and recommend projects for funding, and then results letters are prepared and issued to all applications with feedback on your project. Just a quick note on the expert committee, they're there just to ensure a range of views have been considered when making funding decisions. They're a committee of marine and development experts, and they're appointed to provide high quality specialist advice on which applications should receive funding. So having a look at FlexiGrant and our application portal, all applications need to be submitted through FlexiGrant, and the link can be found on our website. The link will take you through to our the FlexiGrant homepage, which you can see now on the right-hand side of your screen. And in the top right-hand corner, you can see it says to either log in or register. If you have an account from round 1 and you're not able to log in, then please email the help desk and we should be able to reset your account. If we can just move to the next slide, and we can see this is where the link comes through on our website. So you can click on the apply and then the visit application portal, and that will take you straight through to the page on the right hand side of the screen there. So it's a list here, it shows you a list of the mandatory requirements for our application. So you need to complete your application form in FlexiGrant, and as you go through the application, you'll need to upload some templates that are provided. So we have a work plan, budget, log frame, templates that you upload through the application form. We ask you to upload a theory of change, although there's no template provided for that one, a risk framework, and evidence of contact with the British Embassy or High Commission. There's also sections where you need to upload CVs for key staff members, reference letters, letters of support, policies, evidence of the legal status of your organisation, and the lead organisation's financial accounts for the last 3 years. So the budget template that you will use is the request, the budget template for over £100,000. So it's a locked template. So we need you to complete the cells in blue. Please include details of any secured or unsecured match funding, provide details of partner organisations, and ensure to provide details of costs associated with any partner that you've named in your application form. So your application form and your budget template need to match. And that's the same with the staff that you add in, any staff that you have listed in your application form, if that can then match the staff that you have listed in your budget. And then you need to submit the Excel file in the budget section on FlexiGrant. So this is part of our budget template, and just to show that we ask for a quarterly breakdown of your costs. This is to help with forecasting and claims, as if you're successful, you'll be making quarterly claims. So breaking down the budget, we have sections for staff costs, and we ask you to name individuals working on the project and the percentage of their time that will be spent on the project, consultancy costs, project activity costs, capital costs, which should be no more than 10% of the total grant, overhead costs, which can be up to 20% of the project's total budget, monitoring and evaluation costs and communication costs, which are two new categories for around this year. For foreign exchange, all budgets need to be presented in pounds in GBP, and the lead organisation is expected to manage the exchange rate fluctuation on this, but you cannot include any contingency costs in your budget. So you need to carefully look at the exchange rate to make sure that this is covered under your costs. Just a section here on audit costs. So the lead organisation must provide independent financial assurance that the grant has been spent in accordance with the terms of the grant agreement. So for grants where the total is between 100,000 to 599,999, so you can claim up to £3,000 for in the final year of the project. For grants over this threshold, it's £3,000 can be claimed in each financial year to support the audit costs, and make sure that you include just the audit costs for the lead organisation. We ask for you to submit all the information on matched funding. There's a section in FlexiGrant, which is section 8, as you can see shown here on the right-hand side. Match funding should be a percentage of the total project cost. So if the ocean project cost is 70%, your match funding would be 30%. We would ask as well, if you have a large percentage of match funding that's not yet secured, we would need clarification on how would you deliver the project if you have not secured the matched funding. Please ensure to consider the financial risks and threats to your project, including fraud, bribery, money laundering, corruption, misappropriation of funds, exchange rate fluctuations, as you cannot increase the budget later, and any recruitment delays leading to shift in timescales and funds being approved for the wrong financial year, as we cannot move funds between financial years. And so the last little bit from me is just some general tips. So your budget summary on FlexiGrant and figures inputted in the required budget template must match. It's good to see a significant percentage of funds going directly to host countries or partners. Consider budget spread across financial years and the percentage spent on monitoring and evaluation. And please refer to the finance guidance for any further details. And I will now hand back to Billy.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm just going to talk through some of the final application requirements. So just firstly, your work plan. Please make sure to submit a completed work plan using the template provided. And when completing your work plan, it's really important that you make sure your outputs and activities are consistent with the details in your application form, theory of change, log frame, and any other supporting materials. So we are looking for consistency across all of these documents. We will talk about the theory of change and log frame in more detail in the second webinar session, which will be focused on monitoring, evaluation, learning, and project design. So we'll cover that in a bit more detail. We do not expect more than 10 activities per output, so try to combine activities if needed. Just with regards to the consultation with the British Embassy, so it's important for UK government representatives to know if UK funding might be spent in the projects that they are based, and that's why we ask all projects to contact the British Embassy or High Commission in their country that they're based. For partnership grants, this is a mandatory requirement to contact and submit evidence of engagement with with the relevant British Embassy or High Commission. And a template is provided on our application form to try and support a consistent feedback process. So please download that template, fill in the kind of background information about your project and share that with the embassy. And hopefully someone from the embassy or High Commission will be able to kind of fill that form in, pass it back to you. And that's what we would expect you to upload onto the application portal as evidence of your engagement. However, we do recognise that not all embassies or High Commission officers have capacity to engage and respond to applicants. So if you do send the email or try and contact them and you do not have a response, we also do accept a PDF copy of the email demonstrating that you have tried to reach out and tried to request feedback on the template. So please feel free to upload a copy of that email if you haven't been able to get a response. What I would say is it's really a great opportunity for you to contact someone to gain feedback on your application and to kind of factor that in whilst meeting this requirement. So we do really encourage you to do this, and it's really good because of how busy some of the British Embassy or High Commission staff are. It's great to do this at the earliest opportunity. So we'd highly encourage you do this week or next week to make sure that you're contacting as soon as possible and have sufficient time. If you try to contact them a couple of days before the closing date, it's highly likely you won't get a response and won't be able to get that feedback on your application. So try and do it as soon as possible. And we do also encourage you to consult your local or regional host government just to get support in your project and the feedback there as well. In terms of risk management, so for your project, you will need to complete the risk register, which is available to download from the application portal. You must fill in both the project risk register tab and the delivery chain risk map tab as part of your application process. So please do make sure to complete both, because we, in round one, had quite a lot of people missing the delivery chain risk map, and we don't want you to miss important information and potentially lead to your application being ineligible. And when completing your application, there's a range of different risk types that are seen on the screen here, and you must identify and record at least one fiduciary, safeguarding, delivery chain, and GEDSI risk at a minimum. But we would expect probably about 10 risks, 10 to 15 maybe, so that we are tracking and demonstrating kind of a sufficient amount of risks. But please do take time to look at this and share kind of as much information and risks as you think is appropriate on your project. There's just some quick examples on the screen to have a look at. I won't talk through all of these, but just in terms of the table below, you've got partners kind of fail to allocate and document funds according to the agreed upon format. So that's a fiduciary risk, and as a result of that, it's deemed as a major impact and a possible probability, which kind of leads to a major risk. And then there's some bullet point mitigation actions, so ensuring regular communication with partners, reviewing partner financial management processes and support development if not sufficient, and request regular financial reports. And that, as a result, reduces the residual risk down to a moderate. So that's just a bit of an example of how to kind of go through, but please do keep this in mind when completing your risk register. Just with regards to CVs, the lead organisation must submit a one-page CV for each of the named project staff that are named in the application. And if the project staff is yet to be recruited, because we understand that not all staff will be in place at this point and you may have to go out and do some recruitment if you are successful in your project, then we'd expect you to submit a one-page job description or terms of reference for the role instead. Ensure the skills present match all the work proposed, and tailor the CVs to ensure skills are clear and avoid long list of publications. Make sure they are just that one page. Applications can be made ineligible if they submit applications of CVs that are more than one page. So do just make sure it's in that list. And relate CVs presented to the budget table. So make sure that the application, the CVs, and the budget all match and all align clearly. And avoid too many kind of submitting too many kind of to be confirmed posts or short pen portraits. We do want information where possible. And when uploaded, try to merge all your CVs into a single PDF file so that it's just one file with all of the one-page CVs kind of uploaded together. This is just a screenshot from the application form of where you need to kind of provide the information and then attach the CVs afterwards. Again, just make sure the staff names match the names in the budget. And this is for project staff that are key for delivery. So we don't need you to list here all staff. If there are kind of additionals or other staff that are supporting the project, then that's okay. It's the key staff that we want here to be named and then for the CVs to be presented. With regards to reference letters, so projects are requested to submit reference letters for 3 recent projects or grants held by the lead organisation. These reference letters should effectively kind of confirm that you have held this grant, provide information about the monetary value and how the grant was implemented. It shouldn't be kind of too long. It should just probably be 1 page or 1 or 2 pages and should be on the letter-headed paper of the funder that you are getting the reference letter from and signed by an appropriate individual from the donor or the funder. There isn't a template provided, and we do not want you to upload a copy of contracts or partnership agreements or anything like this. We just want you to ask for a simple reference letter from those projects that you've previously held and upload a copy of those. And really, the idea is that it's to demonstrate your credibility as an organisation and provide track record relevant to the proposed project. We're aware that quite a lot of organisations may have previously had Biodiversity Challenge Fund projects, and as a similar DEFRA fund, we would ask you to provide information in the application form rather than the ref contacting them for a reference letter, as we can confirm this internally. So please do in the application form, instead of uploading the reference letter, if you are providing references for the Biodiversity Challenge Funds, click the option to use the in-form table and provide that information there. Letters of support. So again, you must have a letter of support for each partner organisation. And a strong letter of support will include kind of the extent to which partners have been involved in the development of the proposal, an outline of how the proposed work aligns with organisational priorities, information on the capacity of partners, and kind of the actual level of support that they'll be providing. The letters themselves should be on the letterhead of each partner and signed again by an appropriate individual from that partner. And you must have a letter of support for each partner that you are naming in the application form. So please do make sure to merge these together and upload as a single PDF. We're not expecting these to be too long, 1 or 2 pages again, and just really kind of look at this information and kind of include that in the letter. And then policies. The lead organisations must upload the following policies with their application. So safeguarding, whistleblowing, gender equality, disability and social inclusion, equal opportunities and diversity policy, and a code of conduct. And then if you're recommended for funding, then you will also be asked for a counter fraud, bribery and corruption policy and an ethics policy. So do make sure to upload these, and a bit of supporting information is provided in our guidance on each of these.